Good morning, good morning. It is a cool, crisp Friday morning. Great way to head into the weekend. I sound a little hoarse just because I just had a really huge coughing, sneezing fit, so I'm trying to recover from that. So I'm a little stuffed up now. um, Nothing really new per se, other than I did see a tweet, I believe it was, it might have been a thread actually in the forums from someone that apparently had talked to Kadium about the holidays this year. I guess strangely to confirm that we were actually going to have the holidays again. I don't see why they would not have the holiday, but uh, I guess with all the things that have been going on, they maybe were a little concerned or something. Um, but according to Mini Stabber, KDM confirmed that it will be starting October 19th. This is the Shades Eve. And then they listed some links from Wildweave that has done some data mining for some of the items. So there's speculation as to if these will be released this year during that time and that kind of stuff. I didn't really see any housing stuff specifically. I think it was mostly mounts and costume pieces that they were linking. But we've already seen the release of the fall hedge pieces and such. So I wouldn't doubt that there's more coming. I say that, and it may not be true. Maybe it'll just be a rehash of what we got from last year, but even still, that will be something welcome, I'm sure, for those that either missed Shades Eve or didn't pick up enough last year and that kind of thing. So be on the lookout for that, October 19th, according to this little tidbit. As well, there is a new, oh, right, thanks, Poi. I have it set. All I need to do is press the button. It is done. Thank you. And good morning to you, Poi. Excuse me, and to anyone else that happens to be lurking around. But the other thing I wanted to mention is there is a new Dev Connect up. If you're not sure what those are discussion threads where the dev that posts it kind of focuses our attention and feedback into a single thread. And they give us, a topic. One time it was quality of life features. Another time it was, actually, I can't remember what it was. It just kind of escaped my brain. But the latest one is to do with the UI and like add-ons and things that you use. They want to know what ones you consider, I guess, must-haves that you use regularly. Um, Not only to kind of give props to those that have created those add-ons, but I guess to kind of let Carbine know where maybe their general base game is maybe a little lacking. Maybe it's something that if they see that a lot of people are using a certain type of add-on, maybe they will consider incorporating that into the standalone game. I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen, but they're also interested in knowing if there's anything game-wise that hasn't been addressed by an add-on that you would like to see addressed. Or maybe it's an add-on that's no longer updated by its writer and you would like to see it return in some form or fashion. Maybe it's something that will either, if you bring attention to it, maybe another writer will take up the project or the task, or maybe Carbine, if they feel it's important enough, will work on it themselves. I don't know. So while it may not be specifically housing related for a lot of folks, I did mention in the thread Katya's add-on and Lament's add-on, which are two that I use pretty much every day. Yes, one was on the faction barrier. That's right. Is it just the two that they've had, or is there was another one? I can't remember what it might have been, but yeah, faction barrier was one of them. Anyway, so I took a moment to kind of give a shout out to Katia and Lament about their add-ons and how maybe they're not required add-ons, but they are definitely recommended by me and many others. Um, I didn't specify anything as far as what I felt they were missing or in any other kind of aspect of housing that I feel like we could have. Um, Partly because I have no idea really if certain things that I'm imagining could even be possible. Like if there was a way someone can make an add-on to kind of give us like a loose camera view so we can kind of just zoom around on the plot freely. I think that's something Carbine would have to do and not an add-on. But, and I don't even know if that's even possible, but I will leave that to others. I just wanted to make sure that they were mentioned because the few responses that the thread has gotten so far didn't mention anything about those particular add-ons. So I wanted to be sure and get those out. But if you want to give your own take on what add-ons you use, whether it be for housing or just general questing or whatever, um, feel free to join in that conversation because usually they are pretty good about taking in the feedback. I mean, they'll take in the feedback otherwise, but when they have these focused discussions, clearly their mind is on those particular subjects, and it's good. Yeah, I think it was like quality of life things that we wanted. Like I think I mentioned having a account wide crate or something like that, uh, or storage, unlimited storage. I think was one of them I suggested because usually they'll go through this and they'll refine a listing of things that they've pulled from it that either they plan to or are considering working on, sometime in the future. Sometimes they can give a little bit more specifics. I think they did one on classes at some point. I think that was the first one, class combinations or something that they asked about. And shortly after that, they announced some of the new class combos that they were going to offer, class race combos. Anyway, no promises as far as, if there's anything specific that you want to see touched on, that is actually going to get touched on, but this is your opportunity to give a specific breakdown of what you are currently using, what you find necessary to use, and anything that you would like to see brought in that hasn't been addressed yet. There was something else, and now that thought has just kind of right out my brain. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. So we're just gonna go into the dressing room area. I have totally. It's early mornings. I'm not a real morning person. In fact, I'm more like a zombie most of the day anyway, but mornings especially because I just I don't know. I don't function well. Like it takes me several hours to wake up, and I've been up for like I think I got up about 5:30, 6. So I've been up for several hours, but I still feel like I just woke up. Hey, Cheeky, good morning. Okay, so you can see, again, I haven't touched this since yesterday. I've been kind of purposefully avoiding working on the projects that I'm trying to do for the stream offline. I don't always behave in that regard, but I try because, that's the point of the stream is to show you my processes, I guess, of how I get from point A to point B. So, um, The thing I'm going to try today is I'm going to see about expanding this particular little dressing room thing to a longer bit. I talked yesterday, I think, about how I would really like it to be more of a rectangle kind of deal rather than individual bits. One, I'm using these expensive lights, the new Red Moon ones. They're 15 gold a pop, and while I can realistically afford it and be comfortable about it, I do try to build on a budget, sort of, to kind of help promote those that might not have it in their pocketbook to just spend that amount willy-nilly. So while I'm using them, I still want to try and be a little bit sparse, I guess. Sometimes I don't really care. I just buy and uh, go from there. But I still, I'm still a little thrifty sometimes too. So I was thinking last night, as I often do, as I'm lulling myself off to sleep, I keep a notebook with me. As ideas pop into my head, sometimes I'll think about projects, and as I usually do, and sometimes I'll think of a specific decor that I want to give a try for a certain thing, and I'll jot it down because generally speaking, if I don't, I forget about it and then I don't give it a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to see if I can just enlarge the window, and it's going to be showing up behind here, but I can probably cover it up in a different way, maybe using just a travel poster at the back part to kind of hide it. But what I'd like to do is see if we can scale this up just using the top part, and see if we can kind of make it look alright. It's going to be tough because of these wide edges, I think, but I'd still like to see how it looks. That way we can have one long yeah, I don't know if that's going to look right. I really need something else that's kind of that color, but doesn't have that big old frame. I thought maybe using an orange floor would work because it's kind of grayish, or maybe the granite one, but I think, I don't know. So yeah, that's not gonna work like I'm wanting. I think that'll be too much, too big of a frame around the side. So let me think. See, the floors, they have frames too, but I just don't know if they're like, let's try the granite one, I guess. Oops. See, I was very tempted to try this yesterday off stream, just to test it and make sure it worked before I gave it a try, but I refrained, so you get to see me, goof around with it. I guess I need to straighten that up first so that it looks right. See, the frame, it's still got a frame, but it's not as wide as that window was. So that might be easier to work with. Go ahead and place that. Trying to see how far I can push it. Excuse me. We'll leave it like that, I think. Actually, let's go over. Just bring it right up to the edge of the countertop there, or whatever you want to call it. And then, let's see. Trying to figure out where that window went. Let me move this. Oh, I'll just leave it for now, and then I'll get rid of the window later, because this may not work like I'm hoping. But what I want to do is I want to disconnect the desk from everything. And link it all up by itself so that I can repeat it down the line here. So I'm going to get the drawers, the handles, all that into one bunch. Oops, I don't know what I did. Let's try that again. Now I know I'm not including this leg here, but as I copy it and bring it down, I'm not going to need that end one, because what's already here will count as that. So let's bring up our handy dandy toolkit here. Step manager, this is firstly, I think understage was our general one we were using. So I'm going to add a link. Out of curiosity, that's about 1 gold and silver for this little section that I'm getting ready to replicate all the way across. Because if I get these set up, then it'll help me kind of know about how big that mirror part should be. Looks like we could have about 4 across, which should work really good. I know it's an even number, but in certain places I like even. It's when I'm doing like landscaping and stuff, I prefer odd, I think. Not that I really do a lot of landscaping, but technically I could probably extend it to 5, make that a full all the way across the back there. Let's do that. Then I get my odd number. Can't make up my mind. Okay, so we got 5 dressing room kind of areas. So now I need to make this big enough to span this whole bit. And I want it to be pretty, wow, look how nice that worked out. Meant to be. That's how a lot of my stuff is. It's accidental. I'm going to go ahead and place it first, and then we'll push it back. And then we're going to lower it. I'm going to do that like that, I guess. That was purely accidental that that worked out nicely, because it's not always that the items that you want to use together will measure just right. It just so happens that 5 of these perfectly fit into a 5.51 size bit. I guess I could round that off to 0 there. But when it happens, it's nice. Okay, so what I want to do is rearrange the lights to go around the whole edge. Now, again, these are 15 gold a pop, so yes, it's going to be a little pricey if you want to go for this kind of a setup. But I think it will work best for this. Yeah, I don't even think we need the crate anymore, the crate or the mirror. Just move it off to the side for now. Same way with the window. I know it's not as shiny white as the window, which is, you know, unfortunate, but and I kind of rearrange some of this. As if it's their notes or something for whatever. And then we'll put the divider one right at the line of each of the different tables, sections, whatever you want to call it. And let's see, fingers crossed this lines up nicely, which it might not, and we'll find that out very shortly here. No, it's not going to. What I'll do is just gonna tweak that a little bit. And hopefully you won't notice it too much. Bring this one forward just a little bit. Two more, and that should be it for the mirror lights. Let me check how this looks. Right up on the edge. Okay. That doesn't look the same, does it? Kinda. Maybe a little further out. So. Okay, so then we need to add some chairs for everybody. Not really worried about making them exactly centered every time. And I'm gonna probably change them up to be turned different or pushed in closer or something like that. Just to break up that repetitive thing. It's like the bottles and stuff, those will all vary all the way across, or the little papers and such that they might have. I'll have to dig through my banks to see if I can get myself like a couple of those, oh, what do you call it? Notice the flickering here, because it's not exactly square there. Probably gonna have to make an adjustment on all this now. Some of those, what do you call them? The mythical creature hats for the dwarfs. I think that'll be a fun costume part for at least a couple of them. Okay, a little bit more again. Not a whole lot of adjusting needed, but that's okay. And we're going to turn this one slightly. They're all a little different. I don't like the thing. Okay, I'm really not going to worry, I think, too much about this part here. What I could do is, if you don't want it showing, you could just this, I guess, have a board like that. That way it darkens it up and it doesn't have that showing through. I guess we can do that for all of them. I love my posters. Love those. Okay, so there we have the whole string of lit up mirrors. Now, what I'll probably do, I don't like that it's kind of off center a little bit. Either I push it all up into one corner and then like make this side with like a little wardrobe, or push it off to this corner and do this wall as the wardrobe, since there's a little bit more space, or center it amongst the whole thing. But before I can do that, I have to link it all together. So I'll probably use the mirror part again. So let's see. I don't want to just grab everything because I'll probably end up grabbing some of the wall pieces too. So this is going to be a little fun. Start with the lights. Now I could have just picked one of the lights and did the radius linking tool and said, you know, link only like decor and just grabbed all the lights together. But since there's so few of them, it's not that big of an issue. And thankfully, since we pre-linked the parts of the table, that should be relatively quick to grab. So not too terribly time consuming. Now, if I was just building against the standard walls that are in the bunker house without the pillars being part of the wall, then it would have just been a no-brainer to just use the radius for all of it and grab it all together, but this is okay. The bottles. Get that funky cone to deal with. Make sure you grab all the parts for that. Yeah, I know there was like 2 pieces on each end. Now, in theory, I probably should link the cone by itself. I'll probably regret this later, but so that I could repeat it, you know, down on a different section, so that maybe like there's 2 or 3 cones laid out somewhere. But I'm not being smart about that. Same way with the brush, I would probably link it all together like so, linking all the grass to the brush itself, the handle, and then link that little mini set to the main set. That way, if later I want to unlink it and copy it to someplace else, it's easier. The only time that doesn't work is if, say, you're wanting to give this set to somebody else and they place all of this, the individual pieces, they'll have to relink themselves. That thing just linking nothing. Yeah, those are like, oops. Let me just, oh, well, crud. Doesn't want to link to the cheese block for some reason. Isn't that weird? It's like linking a few of them, but not the others. Isn't that strange? Okay, are all of those linked? See, no, still not. So weird. Well, doodly hoo. Why isn't that doing it? Just try it to the window again. So do you guys have any plans for this weekend? I don't know, is there an event going on? Like, why isn't that linking to anything? Oh, strange. You can get everything else to link up fine. But not the brush.